I am Linda Deir, and you'll never guess who this is.
I'm Ray Holly, Linda's sidekick and vortex of behind-the-scenes magic.
Vortex. Ray, you always have a new one.
I know.
I'm
working on a new intro for you, though.
You are?
Sacramento, California's most famous runaway baby, Linda Deir.
All right.
They're still talking about you.
They are, Ray. Yeah, they are. Okay, today we're talking about the guided journal writing system. And that guided journal writing system consists of guided, 3 books, guided. That's my true life story. It's how I took the journey. It's about my guided journey, which is how you take the journey, part 2, chapter 1 through 18. And then chapter 3 is my journal writing. So this consists of the journal writing system that will get you back in your connection back to your guides, you back in touch with who you are. Okay, so that connection can be achieved. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about believing in yourself. Until you believe in who you are, you can't make that connection to your guides. You're too invested in this world, okay? This world, this physical earth world. And you pretty much pushed away. It never goes away, but you really pushed back who it is you really are. You haven't brought these two worlds together, all right? And we're going to talk about that today. Ray and I are going to bounce off each other. You're going to see what we mean by this world and the world you came from, this world and the one you came from, okay? And how they're disjointed, and it feels like you're dragging a leg in this world, and everything's a struggle, and everything's hard, and everything hurts here when you're just in this world, all right? I'm going to help you with that. So believing in yourself is the key in your ability to take action on the guidance that your spirit guides are always sending you. So if you don't know who you are, you don't believe in yourself, how could you possibly take guidance, advice, anything that comes to you and move on it? You're going to pull back. You're going to question it. You're going to doubt yourself, okay? When you don't believe in yourself, when you don't know who you are. That's a normal thing, you guys. But once you solve this, once you come back into the equation, that will no longer happen. Because all of you will be activated, and you will know how to be present and calm, no matter what is going on around you. All right? Because you're in one piece now. If you forget who you are along the way, you will miss that guidance. And that's hard. When that means you're just in this world, you feel like you're alone, you don't feel connected, you don't feel like you're being guided, you feel lost, you feel desperate, you react, you don't act, you react. You're out of control. So that's not the right place to be coming from, and have an effective life and achieve what you came here to do, okay? When you practice this, the connection to your guides will instantly be restored. So the instant, the moment that you believe in yourself and can trust that, the connection to your guides is a byproduct of that. It's not something you have to go out looking for. This happens every time you become present. Remembering to take these pauses to reconnect will eventually become a new habit. Your old habits of reacting in this world will become a much less prominent issue in your life. It'll happen. You'll still do it once in a while, okay? But what you're going to do is when you do it, when you catch yourself, you're going to write that in part 3, the journal writing part, that tracks how you're doing, tracks what you're doing. It tells on yourself even when you get off track and you react and you did do that and you didn't give yourself a moment to breathe. So this could come back into play and join this, okay? So that's really what this is. That's why this is so important. My guided journey is the companion journal to guided. I wrote this because of all of the fans that listened or read guided, asking me, how do I make this connection to my guides? I know I have them. I know I can do this after reading guided. Okay, that's how this came about.
I think...
And I'm not finished.
Okay.
We're working in chapter 16 today. If you guys go to chapter 16, you'll see what that is, all right? And you can help. I'm here to help you with any chapter that you need help with in this session today. So feel free to bring your questions out. Post them in the feed, and Ray will read them off. And I'm almost done here. To maintain this delicate balance of living in two worlds, you must continue to write ongoing realizations and understandings you are gaining from this relationship with your spirit family in your journal. You've got to do it, because this is going to make you conscious of what's going on. You won't miss it anymore. You've been missing it all along, all right? And this will keep you from doing that, all right? This is a journey of growing through life, not just going through it. So when you believe in yourself, that's your spirit guides and angels, can reach you, and your life will magically work. Now, you've heard that a lot. Oh, it's magical. It just magically happened. It just magically works. Does not. Does not. None of it's magical. It feels magical when it finally works, whatever it is, because you didn't expect it. Because all the other times, years, maybe lifetimes, you stood in the way of that. You were living resistance, okay? You were totally in this world. So you couldn't be open to the guidance that continued to try to reach you. You were closed off. You dominated this part of you, okay? This potential. So when you finally pull back and you just finally say, okay, wait. I've had enough of this lifetime after lifetime. I don't know how many eons I've been fighting this thing. And all of a sudden it works. It feels magical. But really, it was just you getting out of your way, and you were finally open and finally ready. And one other thing, you learned the lesson that you needed to learn in that, so that you were then ready for that magical moment, if you want to call it that. We're the ones that make it hard, you guys. We're the ones that stand in the way of all this. We're the ones that insist that this is the only way to do it. You know, that type of feeling. And that's not true. We just make this hard when we're disconnected from our true essence, from who it is that originally came here on that very first day, and the spirit family that followed you here. It's always been with you. Okay. Ray, I am so ready for you. Do we have any questions there, and who do we have with us today? We love you guys. We love having you, and bring your questions on, okay?
Veronica and Kimberly Williams and Kathy.
Great.
There's another one somewhere hiding in the background.
And I know that you are all working in the journal. I know that you are. Feel free to bring up any chapter in the journal, chapter 1 through 18, My Guided Journey, and we'll help you with that, all right?
You know what I've realized, well, before, lately, but I think what people haven't realized yet is part 2, My Guided Journey, is so much more than a journal.
Yeah.
It's the companion journal to guide it. And people think, oh yeah, another journal, you write down something in it and put it away. It's as much a guidance workbook as it is a journal.
Right. Ray says that all the time, and he's right. That is exactly what it is.
The journaling doesn't start till part 3.
The journaling, right. You're right, Ray. But until you take the journey in part 2,
right.
Part 3 will just be, it'll be good. It's certainly better than nothing. But taking the journey in part 2 is what it really is. It's you are ready to get through all this sputtering that's been going on, this interference, this, this broken reception, this whole thing that's been overwhelming you your whole life. You're really done with putting up with a mediocre life. I really don't know how else to say it, but that's it. And get into part 2 and get into what the issues were that stopped you out, that caused you to react the way that you and create the habits that you have. To the most part, if you have never gone back and done this work, they're not your decisions. They're not your reactions. They're the reactions of somebody else. They're the response to something that was done to you that you've been acting out ever since in this world, okay? And disconnected, so you forgot it. You don't know how to fix it. You don't know how to put yourself back together again, and certainly don't know how to bring this really tender, beautiful part of yourself back into this world and integrate that, okay? This part of you has been in hiding.
Yeah, I'm looking through the book, and what I see there's 3 parts in this book. There's about a dozen pages up front of you explaining what the book is like, what it is, how you should use it. And then there's part 2, and you don't get to the journaling part till 115 pages later. There's 115 pages of walking you through your life.
Yeah.
Here.
Rewinding what happened.
Unraveling the things that you learned that were wrong.
Right.
That people taught you that were just not right.
And that have been interrupting you ever since.
So this is like 3 books in one.
It actually is, right? Yeah.
How you use it. Over 100 pages of you walking them back through their life, and then the journaling starts.
Right.
And then when the journaling runs out here, you get the next book, which is all journaling pages.
Yeah, this is just all the journal writing, okay? Right here, part 3 of the guided journal writing system. Yeah.
So if somebody just started with journaling, in the part 3, that's okay. Or if they journaled in their notebooks how they have journaled in the past, that's okay. But it's not.
It's not in one piece.
Right. It's not all one piece.
It's not chronological. You lose this page, where did that go? And, this you stack on your shelf and you've got them in order, okay?
This is your legacy. That's what it says right on the inside cover.
Right.
My legacy to whoever you're going to leave it to.
Right. This is how, in other words, let's say we've got family, kids, whatever happened in our lives, and maybe they resent us. Maybe they're mad at us.
Oh, I could imagine that.
Maybe there's some hard feelings about whatever, okay? Or maybe they're jealous of us. I don't know, all the different things. When you take the journey in part 2, chapter 1 through 18, it lets them, they think they know who you are. Okay, people thought they know who they knew who I was until they found out I wrote this book and published it. And then they read this book and they went, I can't tell you how many people, everybody that I knew from my past said, Linda, I didn't know you. And I said, I know. I never told my story until I was 62 and published Guided. Okay, this is the same thing equivalent for you. You flush out your life. You recover yourself by rediscovering yourself and the parts of you that weren't yours. And then you release that, and then you become self-realized. That's what this does in part 2. At some point in your life, somewhere down the line when it's time for you to be released from this world, all right, when you're done here, you've finished, your contract is up, and you're ready to get in the other car, you guys. That is a great car. When you do that, you leave this behind and you write in there who that's for. Who felt maybe the most jealous, who felt the most hurt, the most confused, the most whatever. And you let them take a look in your life. You don't have to publish your true life story like I did. You just have to leave it to the ones that you think can heal. And somehow, it doesn't have to be that you're gone and then they get it. You could give it. I would much rather see you give it before that ever happens. And it's your legacy. And then you watch them make the changes in their life because now you let them peek into the real you. You didn't hide it anymore. This is valuable to your family members. All right.
Okay. We don't have any questions yet, but boy, we sure got some great comments.
Great.
This is good. Joy joined us. Hi, Joy.
Hi, you
And
guys.
Patty Friedman. Hi, Patty. Welcome.
It's great to have all of you.
First comments from Kimberly. I had a breakthrough in the journey part. Okay.
Yes, of my guided journey.
When she was doing chapter 8. Okay.
Chapter 8. Okay.
And she said, and then Veronica has said, question about part 2 in the journal. Could some of the chapters relate to me at older ages?
Yes, absolutely.
Like an adult and not as a child. And then Kimberly said she was trying so hard to think about when she started to know her spirit guides and when they became lost to her. So I decided to ask them when I disconnected from them. They told me it was when I was 8 years old. I asked, why did I disconnect? And they said they became deaf to me and I was ashamed of them.
Right. I remember you writing that. Where did I see that? In Ask the Universal channel, where you were talking about that. Kimberly, keep going, Ray.
Okay, Kimberly then says, I asked, when did I become aware of them again? And they said around age 30.
Right.
Holy macaroni. That's a long time to be disconnected. Yeah. Not really. It's all, to them, that's just a blip on the screen.
Let me know when you're done.
And she says, oh yeah, I feel the same way. I feel that the things have happened in my adult life too, just like Veronica said. Could some of the chapters relate to...
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't start the second part until 14. When I started in chapter 14.
Yeah, but they're talking about at this time in their life. Yes, it does apply. If in other words, if you kept missing it, like you were 30 years old before your guides told you that you had reconnected with them, well, that's way past the teenage years that I referred to in part 2. But if you were really connected and getting it at that time in your life, you would have gone through it would have happened in your teens by the time chapter 18 wraps up, okay? Or early 20s, really, mid-20s, I'd say. Something like that is where chapter 18 kind of completes itself. But so many people missed chapter 8, in that early life, and that's the part where they got stuck, like yourself, Kimberly. And now you're at this point in your life where it's coming up. Okay, it's really time to look at that. It's something that you didn't finish. It's something you didn't comprehend when you were younger. Now it comes up. It's just like me. When I had the merry-go-round dream in part 1, at chapter 1 of Guided, I talk about the merry-go-round dream. Until I was 35 years old, did I start dream classes. I mean, 35, you guys. So that's way past mid-20s, right? Okay, so my point I'm trying to make here with you, Kimberly, what you said about, let me just get my thoughts on this where you don't, about the part, read the part where she talked about her guides when she was the early part.
8 years old.
Yeah, 8 years old. Oh, you were ashamed of them. Let me take it from there. Don't read it, Ray. I've got it. When you were ashamed of your guides. Okay, let me translate what you're saying. And then you can correct me if I'm wrong. But it touched me when you said that. You were ashamed that of your guides. You weren't really ashamed of them. You were ashamed of yourself for having that connection to your guides because it was a taboo. You were taught shame really well. And so shame comes right to the forefront. It's a big part of why you need to take this journey. And this thing where you put on the brakes, Kimberly, that came from this world. You were programmed to do that. So you weren't ashamed of them. You were ashamed of yourself for having stepped out of bounds and having a relationship with them. Let's say, okay, we could use something else as an example. A friend, let's say you had a friend that was a certain nationality, that the people you grew up with refused to have anything to do with. Okay, they had prejudices and they didn't like those kind of people. But let's say you were a little kid and you did like them. I mean, you didn't think about them being a certain nationality. They were just your friend. Okay, you were just absolutely open and non-judgmental and being a kid, just being open who you are. And the minute that these people started talking about that kind of person, you started thinking, "Ooh, I'm having a friendship with one of them, okay?" And you're already programmed. You see, that's it. And so you pulled away, and you weren't ashamed of them. You know, when you find out what the real answers are, Kimberly, you know who you're going to be really ashamed of? You shouldn't have been ashamed of yourself either. You're going to be ashamed of them, the people who raised you, the environment you came in. You're going to be ashamed of them. And I can tell you that because of my life growing up in that childhood dilemma, that I was ashamed of them. I was never ashamed of my guides. I was never ashamed of my African American friends, that my family was all a bigot and you know, had prejudices against African American people. They were my only friends because they were for real. They had the same struggles I had, and I understood them. They never made stuff up. They couldn't afford to. They saw things for what it was, and they got real with everything. That was my reality, okay? I couldn't stand the people in my life. I was ashamed of them. But they tried to put that shame on me. They tried to program me so that I would follow suit, okay, and hold grudges against these kind of people that I never even knew before, okay? How could I do that? Well, I certainly couldn't do that because I picked them, and that was it. I mean, I knew what was real and what wasn't real. All right. So that when I heard you say that, I just felt that whole shame thing, the shame blame, come right out and realize you took it. You're the one who was really ashamed, okay? You thought you were ashamed of them, but you weren't. When you really heal this thing, you're going to see who you were ashamed of.
Kimberly says it was also about the same time she was baptized.
Right. More reinforcement went in, okay? That was more reinforcement from this side, from these people who were here before you got here, and not the spirit family you came from, the ones who are your real family, your eternal family. You know, you guys, the families we are born into this life, they're just a temporary experience. The next time you come into another life, you become different characters in the family, okay? I could become the father instead of the daughter, and all kinds of, or I could be, everyone changes roles so they can experience what it's like to be on the other side of the fence, so to speak, you know? So, yeah, it's interesting how this all really works. You know, when you can see it all.
I know this week's, see, I'm more in this world person.
Yeah.
I'm the material world. You're from the spiritual world, okay?
Yeah.
Well, you were kind of an outcast.
Kind of?
Kind of. You were kind of an oddball when you were young. I mean, it's not popular in this world to believe in yourself. How many people believe in themselves? And how do you even tell it?
Okay. That's another interesting. Do we have anybody's questions there?
No.
Okay.
Just mine.
We're waiting for your questions. You guys bring them on. Let's do a chapter together, okay? So that's an interesting point Ray makes. The first place you experience the retaliation against believing in yourself is in grade school, because they look at you and they go, well, who do you think you are?
Mm-hmm.
You mean you like yourself? You mean you love yourself? You mean you trust yourself? You know, they're going to challenge you, okay, because they don't. They're just following all the rules here, playing it safe, doing everything it takes to be the cool kid, the popular kid, the one, with the bully or whatever it happens to be. It's really messed up, okay, the way that these kids come into this world and what they experience right from the beginning. No wonder it's It's chaotic. No wonder people aren't doing well on a whole, you know. That's why. I mean, it's not okay to care about yourself or love yourself or like what you're doing and enjoying your life. It's not okay. You know what? There's so much jealousy now because people are overweighted in this world and they know they're missing something. And anybody who has anything together, like they got it together, they've got an edge, they can see that these people, there's something different about them. You become their enemy.
Yeah,
they want to take you down.
They look at you and they think, well, you just think you're better than we are.
Yeah, you're so, what's the word? You're so arrogant.
Arrogant,
you know,
there you go.
Who do you think you are liking yourself? Really? You know, like that's
you are not liking yourself.
I know, that's exactly right, you know. So this is how far and apart our worlds have become, and that's what this will unravel. That's what this will show you, is how in every chapter of part 2, it will reveal something to each and every one of you about what you got wrong, where you were overweighted, over here, where you gave up your power, where you bought into fear, where you felt repressed and you had to, you should do and you have to do, and what if you don't do it, the threats that go with it, and everything that goes on over here, excluding everything from where you came from. I mean absolutely everything, unless they programmed it into you from their own belief systems or their own traditions, okay? So this is about you coming fully back and now becoming whole. You guys, once you do this, I will say that your lives will never be the same, that many of you will find that you don't, that the people in this world that you've found yourself surrounded by will no longer work. It won't. It won't work. And you will know, this part of you will now be able to take care of that part of you, the real you. And because you've got this part back, you can trust yourself because you know who you are. You can begin to hear the guidance coming through and follow it. Trust it because you trust you. You'll never trust this guidance until you trust who you are. Because this is the bottom line right here, you. When you can trust yourself, you know what feels right. You know what feels right. You sit back, you learn from taking this journey and coming back together and being in one piece. You learn to take that breath and get centered and calm. Okay? And that's when you're in your power. What do we have there?
Okay, Kimberly has a follow-up. I'm very grateful for my guides that were with me, even though she didn't know it at the time, every time bad things had happened to her in childhood. I asked my guides, I'm glad my guides were there to tell me to do this or that so the blow wouldn't be so bad. All right, Veronica says, chapter 8, she picked a chapter.
Yeah, that's caution.
Right. I think I decided to focus in this world, so I became silent. I was called arrogant. I felt fearful and shy. And then Kimberly has a question about chapter 16.
Okay, so let's go.
Veronica was chapter 8.
Veronica, let's stay on.
She said, Veronica says, I stayed completely quiet for at least 6 years. Whoa.
You know that part where I talked about...
My nickname was Lockjaw, because I never talked.
God.
I think that was my realization for chapter 8.
You know, let me interject for a minute.
Sure.
I talked about that one part where I challenged you guys about being quiet and not doing the talking. Veronica is a master at that one. Veronica, you could write a book about it, and I'm not joking you. You may want to do that. You may want to consider, once you start doing this healing, and you start seeing who this Veronica character really is. I mean, the real one, the one who came here. Okay, you find out who this is for real, all right? And you lay this down in part 2, chapter 1 through 18. You uncover all that. You know the guides yesterday in our session about becoming obsolete. they talked about that. They said, this is your plan. Well, all the things that you've learned in this life and you gifts and talents you brought with you in this lifetime is is your plan going forward. So you are not obsolete. Now you have something to share with the world that helps the world heal. Okay. So there's something there, Veronica, that you did. Like if this was normal right here, this right here, you went way out here. You took this one to the limit. And when you do something like that, when I experienced something like I did and have throughout my life, it's noteworthy. It's something that helps people. But you've got to heal this thing. You've got to completely unfold the thing, and then this whole thing comes together and you're back in one piece. And from that perspective, from that wholeness in you, you've got everything you need. This thing about you being silent, 6 years, Veronica, there's something in that, okay? So keep taking the steps, and every bit along the way. Wednesdays, I'm here, Veronica. Bring your questions about any chapter you have questions about. You're not really asking me a question, but I'm giving you some feedback on what you are saying, okay? And 6 years, Veronica. Whoa. You've got some real interesting insight from that. Once you come together and you're back in one piece, okay?
Yeah, she's going to get a lot more out of chapter 8.
Man.
Which was her follow-up question. Do the guides have anything else that she should know about chapter 8? I think you just finished.
No, we're going to ask the guides to talk to her about it, right? She wants her guides to tell her.
All right.
I'm just here as, part of the team. The guides, me, Ray, and we're part of the team. But the masters, the bottom line happens right here, right, Veronica? And we're going to let them talk to you about that chapter 8 part, okay, that we just talked about.
People say that silence is golden. In your case, it certainly was more than golden. It was the environment where you could sort things out. You could get in touch with your higher self. And when people see someone who is in touch with themselves, who actually likes themselves, they see someone who sticks out like a sore thumb. They feel envy, but would never admit it. They even make fun of that person. So they lose their self-image. It's odd that humanity works this way, and it takes a strong will to stay on your path when everyone's out against you.
God, Veronica. And Veronica, while this was coming through, what I kept seeing you do as a little kid, you kept spacing out. When you were not communicating and you were really a master at it, you were spacing out. People would talk to you or say something to you, and really, how much more could you convey the fact that you didn't like it here? That's really what that says. That not talking for 6 years, pretty much keeping it, talking as little as possible, participating in this world as little as possible. You didn't like it here. That's the part that you need to get into. And you developed, I'm going to say this, just take and consider this. You developed something there that's not good. And I'm going to say one thing and that I acknowledge, where you do space out, where you drift off and you'll miss what just happened, what was just said, because you trained yourself so well as a kid and in those 6 years to just shut this stuff all off. You weren't going to be a party to it. And in doing that, you don't just quit talking, but the ripple effect is, that's one ripple effect, is that you miss a lot of what's going on because you don't like it here.
Yeah.
So the habit that came out of that, the pattern that was produced from that carried into your adult life, is the part of you that misses things many times. It's not that you're stupid. People would say, well, what are you, stupid? I know, because I had that many times, Veronica. They thought I was missing it. I was not missing it, okay? You were not missing it. You opted out, is what you did. But you did space out. So you did, and so did I. I did it too. But when I got my life back out of my really horrendous childhood, it was like, oh my God, I'm free now. I don't have to hold my breath anymore. I can actually be myself. Oh my God. I never dared to even imagine what that would look like. That's how bad it was, okay? So when I came out of it like I can't describe how radical it was for me. It physically changed me. But in your case, your guard stayed up. It kind of stayed there, and it kind of stayed with you. So there's something about you where you just shut down, and you'll miss stuff. So really look into that, okay?
Okay. Anime joined us. Hi, Anime.
Hi, Anime. Nice to have you.
And Stacy Bauer. Hi, Stacy. Stacy says, after seeing her guides for the first time a couple of months ago, I realized I used to see them when I was a kid, but I had no idea who they were.
Right. Now you're making the connection.
Right. That's great.
Now you're remembering. Stacy, I don't know if you have My Guided Journey, but you need to get it, okay? And so you have it to write in. This is so important, okay? So that you can begin to put those pieces back together. It's coming through like that. You're not going to have a lot of resistance to uncovering this if you're remembering things like that. So if you have a question about any chapter, join me here on Wednesdays, and I'm going to help you guys get through those chapters, okay?
Okay. Veronica says that's exactly right. Kimberly has a question for Veronica. What made her start talking again after 6 years?
Could you answer that, Veronica?
Sure, just put your answer
put that in there. Yeah.
Stacy says, okay. All right. No more new questions or comments.
What did Joy have to say, Ray? Joy had a
No, I haven't seen anything from Joy.
Yeah, but you said she had
joined us for a minute here, I think.
Okay.
There she is. She said hi.
Okay.
Hi, Joy.
Hi, Joy. Do feel free to ask questions about chapter 2, any chapter, and part 2
you're stuck with.
Yeah, any chapter you're having need help with in part 2. And also, you guys, as I'm working with you guys in the chapters of My Guided Journey, all right, you guys can help each other, like what Kimberly just asked Veronica. Great question. So why did you start talking? When did my dreams stop? When I started taking dream classes. Wow. Now, I never would have thought that. But you know what? I wanted to do that. Even though the man I was married to at the time, husband number 2, he said, you need to quit going to those dream classes, Linda. And I said, why? And he said, it's going to ruin our marriage. And I thought, really? That's going to ruin our marriage? Then we don't have much of a marriage. All right? So he was threatened by it, you guys. Again, I know the consequences of stepping into your awakening. I know the consequences of seeing what's going on from both worlds, okay? I know the consequences. And you know what? They're worth it. They're so worth it. You didn't come here to live somebody else's life or live in this where, it wants to repress you and control you and, threaten you and threaten. It's going to ruin our marriage. Threaten me. Well, this part of me over here went, okay, I can't not do it. My soul needs it. Okay.
Okay. Kimberly has a question, and Veronica had a response. Veronica said she wanted to. Veronica said she wanted to and had to learn how, so she worked on it. I learned about energy, being grounded, and being brave. That's great. And so
now you were
start
young.
Talking again. Yeah, you're very young. Kimberly says she has a question on chapter 16. Is it time alone? Does time alone mean all the times that we're available to meditate, or when we were just alone being away from our guides?
Say it again, Ray.
Right. Does being alone mean all the times that we're available to meditate, being alone,
or
quiet time out, or and be alone, or being alone away from our guides? Well, you're never away from
it's the first one.
Yeah.
It's where you can call it meditation, or you can call it. You can even be working on a project. Let's say you're painting. You're doing your painting, Kimberly. I can totally see guidance, easily reaching you. It's when you can be reached. So that's like a meditation. That's what the guides call living a guided life, as opposed to meditating. Living a guided life is not something you have to stop and do. Meditating is something you have to stop and do. They say that they're sending guidance all the time. All you have to be is open to it. So when you're doing your painting, you're not thinking about doing the dishes and looking for a job and, I don't know, whatever, having a relationship with somebody, or you're not thinking about that stuff. You're focused on one thing, okay?
You're in the moment.
You're in the moment. True. That's right, Ray. And you're present. Because you're so focused on what you're doing, you are totally present. You are accessible when you're doing that. So it's anytime you're doing something that you love. Now, let me run this by you guys. If you're always doing something that you love, okay, like you're just addicted to all these things you love to do. I call it addiction. I mean, I could use a word like possession.
Possessed?
I mean, when I say this, I mean, you're so excited about doing what you're doing that you feel possessed to do it. You can't help yourself. You love it so much. It is a blast. You're loving it, all right? You are totally present when you are that engaged, all right? And that's when you get the best guidance. It just comes through. It doesn't just come through like this, bing, bing. It comes through like this. It's always coming through. You know why? Because now you are co-creating whatever it is you're involved in, engaged in, from this passion you have. That's where the guides reside, you guys. That's where they are. So when you do that, you line right up with them, and there's no separation. Now you're co-creating the situation. You thought that idea came from you. No, it came through you because you were in one piece. You guys, there's no feeling like it. There's nothing like it. There's nothing that touches that. So when you start bumping into those moments, and you keep bumping into those moments, and you go, oh man, I'm getting what that is. I remember that when I was a kid. You will remember it when you were small. You were just in your bliss. That's the way you came in. You came in with this whole team of guides to see you through this life. They are with you all the time. It's us that interrupts that. All right.
Okay, let's see here. Kimberly says, okay, I see, thank you. Stacy, I've noticed a feeling of energy in my left hand only when I'm very focused and in the zone. It feels like I'm being communicated with and connected with my twin flame.
Okay.
So why would she feel it in her?
Well, your left hand
Oh yeah.
is your receiving hand.
Mm.
Okay, it's how you, and your right hand is your giving hand. So you receive and you give, and it's a flow, and there you go. All right. So you're beginning to be activated. Okay. So the one hand, the receiving hand, the one that needs to receive this information, that needs to start to understand and know and wake up and be conscious, is the receiving hand. That makes sense that it would be this hand right now. All right, for you. I can only tell you that you need everything that's coming through for you is so precious, so important to write that part into part 3. That's not the part 2 part. Part 3 is the journal writing part, okay? And you just keep it going so you can then, a week from now, a month from now, reflect back on what you wrote and see the sequential order of it and what kept coming through. You will love what you're learning, okay?
It's kind of like when people say, your palm of your hand itches, and you're going to receive something, you're going to get something.
Yeah.
It's always your left hand.
Is it, Ray?
It is for me. Well, how about you in the ring? Left hand?
Yeah.
Itching?
Yeah. Well, it wasn't itching, Ray.
You weren't itching to get a ring?
No, I wasn't itching for it. But he cracks me up, Ray's funny. So what else do we have?
Oh, that's it. Stacy said that's great. Wow. Okay, well, let's give you a wow thing here. Let's send a wow up there. A couple of wows. There they go. And up to this. Yeah.
So I thought that the answer that Veronica, could you go to the Veronica answer?
Yeah.
That when Veronica, when you answered Kimberly about when you started talking again. All right, let's take a look at that, Ray.
Yeah, she wanted to start talking again, and she had to learn how. So she worked on it. She learned about energy. She learned about getting grounded and being brave.
Being brave. That's good.
That's the one word I want to focus on here. For you to come, you were in hiding over here. What happened, Veronica? You came in as your whole self, and when this world took a gander at that, it went wham. Okay, and your real self just went whoa. It was so shocked by what was going on here, what was forced on you, pushed on you. You were required to perform, and do and comply with and abide to and everything. That I don't mean just your family. I mean school. I mean all of it. This part of you, you couldn't be without it, so it didn't go away, but it got really quiet, right? So it could still be here, because you needed that part of you so much. You couldn't let that go back and push it away. You had to have it, okay? You just figured the way you're going to solve this is get quiet so that people here couldn't attack it anymore. All right, so that's the part of you that you're talking about being brave. Brave. Okay, so being brave is a huge thing, Veronica. You need to write that word down in chapter 8. That's the cautious part. That's what you talked about in the beginning of this. It's that brave part of you that you're still trying to, I'm going to call it confidence. Okay, let me try another word. Help me with this, Ray. Brave, confidence, courage.
It's like you put yourself.
Warrior.
Yeah.
Where you are not brave. Whatever that is, it's a little bit exaggerated about what you need to be. But for you, that's what it really was. Like with Kimberly, when she said she was ashamed of her guides. No, she got it. It's confused. How could she be ashamed of her guides? There's no way she was. She was ashamed, but she carried that shame into herself from the people who were here that taught her that shame. All right. So they were the ones that deserved for Kimberly to be ashamed of. Not her and not her guides, but these people who tried to push this, repression down on her. So this brave, the word brave, the courage, all that. You're still recovering from. That was so traumatic, you know? So the word brave is a big one. That's a big one. You had to, but it's like the kitty cat that takes itself and it goes sideways and it fluffs itself up to make itself look big. So it can intimidate whatever other little cat or whatever's trying to give them a bad time. That it's kind of like making yourself, overprotecting yourself is what I'd like to say. Brave. So that lingers, it hangs in there. That needs to be looked at. That's a big clue for you.
Mm-hmm. Very well said, Linda.
Thank you. Wow. And Stephanie Lomax Canfield joined us. Hi, Stephanie.
Great.
Welcome.
Welcome, Stephanie. If you have questions, what we're working on today, Stephanie, is my guided journey. It's part 2 of the guided journal writing system. And we're working on believing in yourself.
Yeah, if you missed the first part of it, it'll be up within minutes after we're done.
Yeah.
So you can go back and rewatch. In fact, a lot of people do that.
Yeah.
You're in different time zones around the world, sleeping or just waking up. Anyway, that's it. Veronica says she's going to write it down. Brave, confidence, courage. Right.
Yeah. And I'm not saying that. I think it's a little bit overinflated in your case because you were so hurt, Veronica. You really were. I mean,
especially as family members.
The beauty of this is Veronica never pushed it away. See, most people, when they're little, they push it away, and they just go all in on this side of the scale. They're just in this world, and they completely push away that world. Veronica couldn't do it. That's the good news, Veronica. And was it painful? Oh my God, was it painful? I know, I do. But and there's consequences, and you held on to it. But the thing that glue that you put yourself together with, so you could just hang in there and breathe through another day, another week, a month, a year, and until you could get out of there, type of thing. It stuck in there, and I had things stick in there too. I had anger from this world, and it took me until my late 20s. I talk about it in Guided, when all of a sudden one day my guides come through, and I had great successes, and my life worked out really good. And they said, and real estate was over. They told me to get out, and I did. And real estate crash happened and all that. And they said, real estate will never be the same for you again, and your anger issues are now behind you. I went, whoa. I didn't see that, okay, but I didn't feel angry anymore. All of a sudden, one day, it was over. So while I thought I was doing really good, had a great career, and, making a lot of money and doing what I loved what I was doing. I got to do it. Wow. Okay, I never did it for the money, you guys. The money was just a byproduct of all the things that I got to do, that I loved to do, that I did, all right? And I didn't plan on making all that money. I did not know that. I did it because I loved it. I was really loving it. So, that's another thing about all this. When you're just following your bliss, just like when you first came here and you followed your bliss, you guys, you weren't afraid of anything when you first got here. You didn't come in scared and fearful. You didn't. You saw the high road. You saw the high road until you encountered this, okay? And it was like, oh, please. And we all reacted differently. That's why it needs to be healed. Until you heal what happened back there, will you be able to even have the capacity to be in one piece, okay? And it's the only way you can live out what you intended before you got here, is by being in one piece, okay?
That's right.
Yep, she was totally, Kimberly says she was totally in this world, not in the other world.
Right, you were scared into it, Kimberly. I call it being feared into this life, okay? You better do this or else, type of thing. And it can be horrendous, you know. So you're one of these that goes like this, and then you finally find your balance. Veronica is somebody that instead of throwing this away, she kept it kind of like that little frog you hide in your pocket as a little kid, you know, and it starts to smell.
That's a good analogy. A little frog you hide in your pocket.
You hide him in your pocket because you love that little frog. You want to keep him. You know? That's Veronica. She never let it go. But what she did to herself to hold on to it is what she needs to heal now. Okay? Yeah.
You know, little children all come in with this connection to their guides. And what, like Kimberly said, you know, she got away from them. You know, she got away from them for a period of years. And usually, it's not. You don't make a choice to separate yourself from your guides. It's other people tell you.
That's.
You know,
they scare you.
What do they say to all little children? Who are you talking to? I'm talking to I'm talking to my imaginary friends. Oh no, there's no such thing. You don't have any imaginary. You're making it all up.
And that's another thing I want to say. If you guys have an issue around being confronted, okay, it has to do with that early life. Something happened back there, like an example of what Ray just said. This world, the people in this world, when you were really young and tender and you weren't fully reasoning yet. So they were out thinking you all the time, okay? It just felt like you couldn't even say anything that even mattered. Even if you said something, they were probably so busy being right that they never would have listened to you anyway.
Or they would have made fun of you.
That happened a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. At making fun of this real person, this new person, make fun of them? What? Okay, so this is a really flawed place, okay? In spite of that flawed place, in light of that flawed place, we get ourselves back by taking this journey back, okay? I want you guys to really look into part 2 and come back next week and let me help you in any chapter you need help with. Start working in it, okay? And before you do that, make sure you go to the video that correlates with that chapter. Of course, it's on lindadeir.com, and you go to the blog, and then when you get on the blog page, on the category side, you look down to 1, My Guided Journey, okay? And you go all the way down to start from chapter 1 to go up. Okay, and you watch the video associated with that. You guys, that's the mindset you need to get in so you can start to pull this out, this buried treasure that it hasn't gone anywhere. You guys really protected it, okay?
Okay. Stacy has an interesting, you know, you always say you were hoping to reach the kids.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, Stacy says her 12-year-old son's there listening now with her, and she's teaching him how to be reacquainted with his guides.
Yeah. You know, Stacy, I hope you have this, because this, if he reads this, okay, even if you don't have it, go to where I just directed you to go, and to the blog, to the categories, 1, My Guided Journey, and just have him go through some of the videos there. He'll see that what I'm talking about is the real thing, that this is no bullshit, is what this is, okay? Because kids are the biggest BS detectors there are. You all were the biggest BS detectors. That's why you shut down. That's why you closed off. That's why, you know, you got quiet, Veronica. You saw right through this stuff, all right? But you didn't know what to do. Now you have the power to bring it all back and achieve what you came here to do, all right? It's your power you're bringing back. This is just your life, your superficial life in this world. This is where your power resides, because this is the real you. This is the you that's forever, okay, that's eternal. And this is the you who's connected to your spirit family. They got your back.
Yeah, it's the children hanging on to the connection they have is very difficult as they get older, because the pressure of their friends, pressure of society, of school, of all these outside pressures.
What it's doing, it's pressing on your insecurities.
Right.
And you came here into this life to acknowledge these insecurities and heal them. Okay, so that you're no longer lamed up in this world with insecurities. Okay, you know, you've got this twitch, this tendency, this weird part of you, you know, it's what it turns you into. It kind of distorts you, okay, these insecurities, until you finally look at them and go, excuse me, enough. I'm going to fix this because this is really, it's holding up my life. I know I need to bring this back. I know I'm walking around lame like I'm dragging a leg, and I'm done. I want the whole thing. I want to be in one piece. I want my power back. Okay, I want to know why I came here, and I want to accomplish it. I want to perform on it. So, okay, so Ray, next week we're going to talk about how you found us again. Us. They are your spirit guides and angels. How you found us again, all right? You found us when you focused on the questions you had about everything. This is where you're going to find that. This is going to be chapter 15. Finding us happened almost by accident. It was the byproduct of your deep-seated need for answers. No one had your answers, so you went on a personal journey to get them for yourself. It was a journey that required alone time. Rather than having more questions than answers, you enjoyed your time of introspection. This time you were not impatient because you were actually enjoying this process. In pursuit of making this connection to us, you experienced a profound inner peace. Following your bliss, you made the hours pass like minutes. That's how you know you're in it. You look at the clock and go, oh my God, it's 6 o'clock. How many times have we said that, Ray? It's 6 o'clock already and we haven't even taken our showers. That's what a kid would do. They'd miss their shower, their bath and everything, right? That's good stuff, you guys. Okay. This experience was familiar to you like deja vu. You were beginning to feel whole for the first time since you arrived here. You were beginning to remember what you knew when you first came here. You remembered us. That's your spirit guides and angels. With all this momentum working for you, everything is moving along in perfect timing. The ease has returned in your life. Okay, the ease. You guys remember what that felt like? When you have that back, I want you to know every time you feel one of these things, like every time passes and hours turned into minutes, that everything just has an ease to it. There's no struggle, okay? You are back together again. You are in one piece. You are in your power, okay? That's the person who came here to live this life, not this person who's just kind of hobbling along because it's disconnected. You know, it's all messed up. It's confused. It's insecure. It's scared. No, that's not you. That's you without you, okay? That's the you that left you behind. Okay, it doesn't work. That's why the world needs healing now, you guys. It's really disconnected, okay? We're going to let the spirit guides
closing message?
Yeah, close the session with their closing message about believing in yourselves. And here they go.
In this world, the material world, it's not popular to believe in yourself. In your late teens and early 20s, the distractions of life started to kick in an attempt to discourage you from being your true self and prevent you from being in the moment. However, being in the moment and being yourself is something you must hold on to. Just like in the dream, the merry-go-round dream, you must be able to hold on to the ride, the karmic ride that goes around and around. Because it's in the ability to hold on to yourself that the magical moments occur versus all the usual things that occur which end in disappointment.
That merry-go-round dream, part 1, chapter 1 of Guided, is the whole setup for the entire book, for my entire life. It was that one dream that would not stop.
Apparently they thought it was important enough that you had it, over 30,000 times in your life before you turned 35?
Yeah, and your guides, I just want to end it with this one last final thought, is your guides, when they come here with you and you miss it and they watch you get lost, okay, or they watch you get distracted, or they watch you, whatever it is, you do anything but what you came here to do, and I mentioned this last night about the soul, how the soul, in what's coming up next Tuesday's event on Facebook, is about the soul vows, okay? And how your soul's tired of it, you guys. That's why you're tired of this. Your soul is sick and tired of you coming back to do this again and again, the merry-go-round dream, and again, and the karmic ride, the merry-go-round dream, and again and again. That's why I know this, okay? That's why I help you guys with this, because I know this. The merry-go-round dream, 35 years of having it, never changed at all. I couldn't do anything about it, couldn't stop it, couldn't change it, nothing. Do you think they were trying to get through to me? And I'm just one of the I guess soldiers, or whatever you want to call it, somebody who's been selected to see this through, to actually perform on what they wanted me to perform on, what I wanted to perform on, what my soul knows the world needs now that I perform on in this lifetime, okay, that I get it done, okay. So it's something in me that has me here. It has me here. I can't not do this, okay? I mean, I walked away from all kinds of stuff, you guys. I walked away from a lot of stuff so I could focus on this project and get this done, all right? And achieve what I came here to do. And my guides, see, they're part of this. They're part of this whole plan. They've been waiting to see this come to life, to actually happen now, so that they can go, okay, rolling up our sleeves. Let's roll up our sleeves. Let's do this thing. Let's get this done. You guys are attracted to what I do because you're part of that. You've got a mission of your own that's just as important as the one I'm doing. You're going to help so many people, but you got to fix this first. You can't help anyone on the plane until you put the oxygen mask on yourself first. You can't assist anyone else until you are breathing. Okay? So you guys are on the right path here. You guys are on the right path. I want you to bring your questions next Wednesday. Dig into that journal. And no matter what we're going to be focused on, it doesn't mean anything. Let's take those chapters on that you guys need help with right now and do the work between now and then. Watch those videos that are associated with that chapter that you're working on, and let's get this done, okay? And your guides are going to help you, and I'm going to help you, and we're going to get through this, okay?
We're all part of the same project.
We are. Yep.
All right.
It's important. And I do hope to help the kids. Here's my feeling about it, is helping you guys, helping the adults, the byproduct is going to be the kids are going to get it. They're going to see a change in you, and they're going to start
asking questions.
They're going to start respecting you.
Right.
They don't respect what they're seeing in this world, that they have to make a living in this. They have to function in this. You got to be kidding me. Really? This is a mess.
People are getting in fistfights at Disneyland. What's the world coming to? It's the Magic Kingdom.
It's funny, but it's not funny. No.
No, it's good at Disneyland.
This is not funny. So we're all part of the solution and not adding to the problem, you guys. That's the beauty of this. But we got to fix ourselves first, okay? Yeah.
Put your mask on first before you try to help somebody else.
Because until you can breathe.
Keep participating in this project.
Yeah.
If you have kids, grandkids, you read bedtime stories to them, read guided to them.
Or, or have them come to one of these. I don't say things that aren't appropriate for kids, especially kids that are, I don't know, 7, 8, 9, 10 teenage years. They're really frustrated.
Kids that are being bullied. Couldn't have a better trainer here.
That's exactly right. So I'm here to help with this, okay? So tell your friends, and I'm here to help you guys in any way I can.